all about the booty. And a lot of people will think they're working their glutes without actually properly working their glutes, which again is just so tough to see. Such an amazing exercise. Obviously you can tell I'm very passionate about this. Hey, what is up? Kate the Great here. Welcome back to my channel. It's really nice to have you here. Today I'm going to go over how to actually activate your glutes. I'm going to go over common mistakes and tips for you to take to go to incorporate into your glute activation. First things first, do you have to actually activate your glutes? No, to each their own. However, it is very important to make sure your glutes know what is up, that they basically have to run the show. And in regards to lower body exercise and honestly just general function of daily activities, so just learning to walk with a nice ideal gait, your glutes are very involved. Standing, just in everything in general, your glutes play a huge role in so much more than you probably think they do. Learning to activate your glutes, actually connect to them, and train them properly to fire through your exercising and your daily activities is very important. Before we jump into it all, please give this video a like and subscribe down below. It really helps to support me and my channel, and so you can always come back and hang out with me again. I have a plethora of different types of videos on here, and I upload new videos every single week. So make sure to stick around. Before we actually get into the mistakes and tips, I want you to just do a little bit of a self-assessment. Of course, I'm going to guide you through it. So if you are actually able to stand up, please stand up, and I'm going to have you just stand like you usually stand, except feet shoulder width apart. I'm gonna have you place your hands on your glutes. Now, a lot of people actually don't realize there are 3 glutes: your glute maximus, your glute minimus, and your glute medius, which is the one on the side. A lot of people call it like a side glute. I don't really usually like to use that, but that's usually what that is when people talk about that muscle. So you're gonna place your hands on your glutes, feet hip width apart, grip your toes into the floor or into the bottom of your shoes if you can. I'm gonna have you drop your knees in. So this is what a knee collapse will look like. This is very common for people who are not actually activating their glutes in a lot of different moves like squats, lunges, basically any lower body compound move. So you're going to drive your knees out to the side. Keeping those hands on the glutes, you should feel your glutes light up. See what I mean? Knees out, toes gripping into the floor. That is how it should feel when you are activating your glutes. So then from there, I'm gonna have you either lay down or sit down if you can, and if you can't do it in general, that's okay, and if you can't right now, try it later. So either laying down or seated, it's better laying down. I'm going to have you just clench your booty cheeks, get a little bit of an activation going. This is going to seem like the most simple thing that you've ever been asked to do. However, it's going to be the hardest thing that you've probably ever done. So we're just doing a basic squeeze. So as you're squeezing your glutes, you can do both glutes at the same time. Try to make sure that you're not digging your feet into the floor, not activating your quads, which is the top of your thigh, or you're not activating your hamstrings, the back of your thighs, just only firing the glutes. I'll give you a second. Were you able to do it? Were you actually able to do it? Are you sure that nothing else is firing? It's very common for other things to fire. So when you are learning to activate your glutes, to be honest, just start with this. If you are laying down in bed at the end of the night or in the morning, sitting down in a chair, anything, even standing, honestly, standing is the harder version of it, or the most advanced version. Just get a little glute squeeze, just clench your cheeks and just hold, and then you can relax. Just start the connection with them. From there, if you can, do the double leg and make sure you drop your ego and actually make sure you can do it. You can go into single leg glute squeezes. So you're gonna squeeze one booty cheek, hold it, see if you can do it, and then relax. Then if you can, squeeze the other booty cheek, hold it. Can you do it? Now I want you to see, were you able to connect better with one glute cheek over the other? Things like that you should become in tune with. Try to learn how your body works. Everyone is different, everyone is unique, especially as a trainer. I tend to see a wide range of abilities, skills, glute connections, and compensations that float around with clients. So that being said, you have to learn how your body works. It's going to be you doing the moves. Even if you have someone to guide you or a guide to guide you, you have to learn to do it yourself. So when I train people, I'll say, okay, you're gonna do this, and guide them throughout the entire thing. However, I technically can't do it for them. So I can tell you everything you need to do. However, it's really up to you to gain that connection. Really connecting and not lying to yourself or lying to the trainer that you actually have the connection. Okay, moving on into the common mistakes. Now that you know how to actually activate your glutes, I like to incorporate those glute squeezes as often as I can. But moving on from there, a very common thing that people will do is preach the cue or listen to the cue and like live by the cue of driving through your heel. People will say that all the time, and I've said it 1,010,000 times on here. I don't really know where that came from. However, you basically want to think of your foot as a tripod. So the tip I have for you with this mistake is get your entire foot to be activated and drive through the whole foot. I go way more in depth on how to mobilize, strengthen your feet, and incorporate them into exercises and daily activities like simple as walking in this video here. So make sure you check that one out. Common mistake number 2. Glute bridges done in less than ideal ways. The glute bridge is such an amazing exercise. However, it like really hurts my soul because I see so many people doing it again in not an ideal way. That leads me into the tip of making sure you actually have down the glute bridge, and then from there you can progress into other similar moves like single leg bridge or hip thrusts. Everyone, if you can, should be doing hip thrusts in more of the advanced stages. It is one of the best moves, if not the best move, to grow your glutes and of course make them stronger. But a lot of people care about glute growth. I mean, I'm one of them. I have an entire video on how to actually do the glute bridge in the most ideal way with cues that you can wrap up, take to go. If you're able to do the glute bridge, definitely do it because everyone should be doing it, incorporating it into your routine somehow. Check out this video. This is a very important move that, if done in the not most ideal way, could prevent progress and not get your glutes actually activated and basically be a waste of time if you're not doing it as correctly as you should. So watch this video, take the tips to go, and incorporate them into your glute bridge, and tell a friend while you're at it. Into the next common mistake, a lot of people will do different types of band walks. So I love a good lateral band walk and a good monster walk. However, specifically talking about the band walks, people will kind of just go through the motions a lot of the band walks or not play around with the different positions of the bands. So you can place the bands above your knee, you could put them below your knee, around your feet, down by your ankles. As you continue to lower the band further from your glutes, the harder it's going to be and put more demand on the glutes. So the whole lever system of the body, the further the resistance is away from the effort, the harder it's going to be. The tip that I have for you in regards to the band walks is just make sure you play around with the positions of the band, making sure that you are always trying to increase the resistance, of course doing it in the most ideal way. So ideal ways that you can aim for are making sure first you're gripping your toes into the floor, that whole tripod foot, going back to the first common mistake that I mentioned. Making sure your knees are pushed out. Knees will collapse so much. I see often that people will not lead this move with the hip hinge. So a hip hinge is just as it sounds, hinging at the hips. So think of your hips being pulled backwards, almost like they're trying to hit something behind you. So maybe using a wall to guide you as you're going side to side to make sure, and pretend that you're trying to hit your booty to the wall as opposed to just straight bending your knees, which is not as ideal. Another thing I usually see is people will use other parts of their body to create momentum to get their leg to actually take the lateral step. That is a good indication that maybe the band or the position is a little too challenging. So don't be afraid to regress down and work your way up. And the last common mistake that I see is people just messing around with moves that essentially don't have a purpose in glute activation or are kind of a waste of time and not spending time on the technique of the moves that are the most important. So the moves that I mentioned previously, make sure that they are a part of your routine if you are looking to get your glutes activated if you want, and or glutes just connected in general. I am constantly working on the glutes with my clients, with myself, with people around me. It's all about the booty. And a lot of people will think they're working their glutes without actually properly working their glutes, which again is just so tough to see. And my tip and hope is for people to slow down the move, put intention into every single rep, not just mindlessly going into hip bridges up and down with an arched back, heels into the floor, toes up, all those compensations. It is essentially wasting your time because you could be putting so much effort and focus into way less reps, getting the technique down, learning to activate the glutes and keep them firing throughout the entire move, not losing it to compensations, and essentially just getting the actual benefit from it. Obviously, you can tell I'm very passionate about this. The glutes, again, are way more important than a lot of people realize. And the way you work your glutes and the process of becoming actually connected to them is way more important. So please do not see it as a bad thing about having to go all the way back to the beginning, laying on the floor or sitting down and just squeezing your glutes, just getting that initial connection. It'll go a long way. Trust me, I've worked my way up from scratch, especially with the glutes. That is all that I have for you today. I hope you learned something. Please absorb it, take it to go, share it with a friend if you can. I mean, who doesn't love some nice booty gains? Aesthetically and functionally, they are just the best. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, if you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye! Don't use that. We're gonna start here. No. Restart that. Oh, that's okay. I think this is dirty. I feel like I'm all over the place. Let's insert this into the glute bridge area. Hey, girl.